Yes, you take a break, yeah? Take a knowledge break because look, you take coffee break, you take lunch break, you take all sort of break. Yes, it's time for you to take a knowledge break. Let's ignite ideas together. Take a break, a knowledge break with Dr. Canute White. Yes, look, I'm going to be talking to you about something that is equally important, to the number, the thing that I've talked to you about before. Yes, we're still looking at child abuse. When does corporal punishment constitute abuse? Yes, I know it's a question that many parents, yes, many teachers perhaps want to ask because corporal punishment is being meted out to students in the school system. We know that a lot of government, maybe in your country, in your state, try to cut that out by making it illegal to institute to render corporal punishment within the school system. Yes, and within the home as well, because of course they are considering the safety of the child, the interest of the child. We talked about that yesterday. We touched on it a little. But look, when does corporal punishment constitute abuse? And yes, the source of my argument continue to be from Ramsey. Yes, Abraham and Ramsey, Children of the Law, Doctrine, Policy, and the Practice, 6th edition, American Case Studies Series. Yes, West Group. So yeah, we're gonna just move into this right away and talk to you about when does corporal punishment constitute abuse? Well, I have a little scenario to share with you though, right? But let's look at what abuse is defined as by the Florida law. Statutes Chapter 39.01, paragraph 2. Yes, abuse is considered by the Florida law. And yes, you can generalize it because abuse is abuse. Check the law in your country or in your state and see how they define it. Trust me, it will be like this because, look, abuse under Florida law is the willful act or threatened act that results in any physical, mental, or sexual injury or that causes or is likely to cause the child physical, mental, or emotional health to be impaired. Yes, but look, I have a little scenario for you. You ready for it? You ready for it? Yeah, man, the case of Jason. Look, hear the scenario. Jason, a 7-year-old child, is in the second grade. Yes, the second grade. At school, his teacher noticed he was having problems sitting during class, fidgeting thing. She asked Jason why he was sort of fidgeting, whittling around in his seat, and what was wrong, Jason? Jason replied that his daddy, yes, his father, had given him a real whipping, according to the scenario, last night, that night, for coming home late after school. Yes, we know a lot of us experience that, right? Yes, and the teacher immediately sent Jason to the school nurse. Yes, immediately has to get that medical care for evaluation. The school nurse conducted a physical examination of the child and determined that Jason had strap mark lacerations across his buttocks. Yeah, approximately 5 inches long and 2 inches wide. 5 inches long, 2 inches wide. Whole lot of mark that. Yeah, and bruises. There were four different but distinct marks which appeared to be deep blue, black, and brown in color. Yes, Jason told the nurse that the marks were from the whipping his father recently gave him. But talk to me now, does that constitute abuse? Does this situation, the Jason situation, constitute abuse? Yeah, we can dissect the thing. Don't worry about it. We're going to bring it together. We're going to ignite. Yes, we're going to ignite ideas together. But before we do that, you can find the knowledge break on our podcast. and several other audio podcast platforms. Also, remember, can use exploration, your topic in the podcast. Yes, look for it on, yes, Apple Podcasts as well, and also on YouTube. Yes, subscribe, share with your friends, though. Yes, but look, we're going to talk about this Jason thing because it's important that we find out when does corporal punishment constitute abuse according to the law, according to further law. Well, chapter 39.1, paragraph 2, defined abuse as, we keep doing this, right? Yeah, we have to understand how, look, any willful act or threatened act that results in any physical, mental, or sexual injury or harm that causes or is likely to cause the child's physical, mental, or emotional health to be significantly impaired. Yes, to be significantly impaired. But look, based on this definition of abuse, it would be likely correct, yes, to say that Jason was abused. You got it. Yeah. So, as his father really reportedly whipped him for arriving from school late, yeah, that is a willful act, right? Yes. And such willful act resulted in physical harm to Jason. Yeah, the strap mark, remember that? Yeah, the lacerations across his buttocks, approximately 5 inches long and 2 inches wide. Yes, if you go back to the definition, which said that abuse is any willful act or threatened act that results in physical, mental, or sexual injury or harm. Yeah, remember that physical part of it. Yeah. So Jason father reportedly whipped him for arriving from school late. That's a willful act. And such willful act resulted in physical harm to Jason. He had a strap mark laceration across his buttocks, approximately 5 inches long and 2 inches wide, which causes significant physical impairment. Yes, because Jason was not able to sit on his buttocks because of severe laceration across his buttocks, approximately 5 inches long and 2 inches wide. But let's consider that. That's abuse, right? So we say he was abused, but was Jason neglected? And remember the definition of neglect? Yeah, Florida law 39.01, paragraph 45, defines neglect as deprivation of or is allowed to, you don't have to do it, but you're allowed to happen, or is allowed to be deprived of necessary food, clothing, shelter, or medical treatment. Was Jason deprived of that? Or a child is permitted to live in an environment when such deprivation or environment causes a child physical, mental, or emotional health to be significantly impaired or to be in danger of being significantly impaired. Interesting, right? That definition is interesting because we wonder if Jason was being neglected as well. Jason could have gone to the doctor, right, for medical treatment instead of being sent to school. What do you think? Yeah, during a time when he required medical attention for injury suffered during a whipping. Yeah, remember that whole heap of thing that him get to know. Yeah, laceration across his buttocks, approximately 5 inches long and 2 inches wide. Yeah, so he should have been sent to the doctor instead of being sent to school during a time when he requires medical attention for injury that he received. Since Jason was deprived of medical treatment, yes, and permitted to continue without treatment, which should cause his physical and emotional health to be significantly impaired or to be in danger of being significantly impaired, then what do you think? Jason was neglected, right? Yeah, man, if you look at it, Jason was neglected because remember, neglect is said to be when a child is deprived of or is allowed to be deprived of necessary food, clothing, shelter, or medical treatment, or a child is permitted to live in an environment when that environment is not conducive to the child health, etc. You know the story, right? And you remember the Jason story. So was he neglected? Yes. Medical treatment. Yeah, sent to school. I mean, come on, you deprive him of deal with that. If perhaps the teachers, perhaps if the teachers teacher never intervened, then perhaps you'd keep having this challenge, and that is indeed neglect. The comparison between child abuse and child neglect must be considered from the perspective of the legal definition of the terms abuse and neglect. Remember them, right? So, Florida law 39.01, paragraph 2, and the 39.01, paragraph 45, the latter deals with neglect and the former with abuse. It's something that we should consider. But look, critical to understand. We want to find out when is this not abused, right? When is this not abused? Because it's critical for us to consider that. Um, Look, according to the law, Florida law, as stipulated by 39.1, subparagraph 2, we heard that already, right? Paragraph 2, sorry. Discipline of a child by appearance for disciplinary purposes does not constitute abuse when it does not result in harm to the child. And that you will find in Florida law 39.01, paragraph 2. In other words, let's look at it. In other words, the law in Florida and possibly in your country, and check it out. Yeah, this is you have to expand on it. Check it out in your state. But the law in Florida suggested that not be considered abuse if the child does not sustain marks and bruises during the process of parents rendering discipline to the child. So this whole thing about marks and bruises is critical when you try to question whether or not whether this corporal punishment may constitute abuse. So this would have supported the view that Jason was abused by his father since he had received strap marks, laceration across his buttocks approximately 5 inches long and 2 inches wide. If Jason had not gotten injured, not gotten those marks, those laceration, which I say again is approximately 5 inches long and 2 inches wide, then under the Florida law, 39.01, look it up, paragraph 2, Jason would not have been abused, but merely disciplined by his parents. Interesting. So the answer is there under the law. This whole thing about marks and bruises, that's what the welfare people, the child welfare people look for when they visit the home to find out if the child is being abused. They look for marks and bruises. Yes, you can't hide them. If you are an abuser, seek help. If you're abusing your child, if you know somebody abusing, the child, children, get help for them. Notice I said get help for them, and getting help for them perhaps mean that you have to talk to somebody who will ensure that the children are safe. Yes. What else can I say? Thanks for taking another knowledge break with Dr. Kenny White. We'll talk more now because we are consider abuse and some of the situations that will actually spur abuse, that will actually bring about abuse. There are some situations in life, there are some environmental situations, some personal situations, right, that the individual may have, that would basically speak to the possibility, the highly likelihood, so to speak, of child abuse being perpetrated by an individual. Yes, we're going to look more upon that. So don't miss the knowledge break. The next time we're going to analyze that. We're going to cut that up and put that together, and dissect and spin that around just for your knowledge. Thanks for taking a knowledge break with the Dr. Kenneth White. Goodbye.